We want to thank Moto Wheels of California for giving us this beautiful BST carbon fiber wheel to use as a demonstrator wheel. Once we've broken the bead, we lock the wheel into our dog blocks, just like we would any other wheel. Now with carbon fiber, a lot of people are afraid to deal with these wheels because of over and under clamping on their other tire changers. There's no need to fear over or under clamping. If I under clamp a wheel here and it spins on me, I didn't scratch it or damage it. I just pushed the cam a notch tighter. And you can't over clamp the wheel. If the wheel fits into the cam and you were to turn the cam all the way as far as you could, the wheel would flex a little bit, but you wouldn't damage it. So we use a tire spray lube to prepare the tire. We need to get that into the drop center so that the tire slides in without friction. We want to make sure that we give the tire a place to go. Make sure the bead's thoroughly broken. We don't ever want to lever on the edge of this rim. Our goal is to lift the tire. Now if I were to try to jack the tire sideways right now, I could potentially damage the wheel. So I need to draw the bar up with my left hand while I collapse the rest of the tire down into the drop center. When the tip is all the way up to the top edge, I can lay the bar over and lift. That puts the least amount of stress on the rim. Hold the tire, pull the first half off. The second half is similar. Always keep the non-marring tip on the top edge of the rim. You lift the tire up to the tool, you bend the top of the tire with the bar. When the tire bends at the top, it bends at the bottom, we lift the bottom, turn the lobe, and drop the wheel. Once again, we've put the least amount of stress on that rim. Hold the tire and pull the second half off. The carbon fiber wheels are pretty slick, so I'll use a little less lubricant to prepare the rim as I would on a normal sport bike. And you got to watch your fingers. Sometimes this carbon can still have some sharp splinters in the blind area. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a little bit of lube right around the middle of the drop center so that the tire can slide into it. Another thing I'm going to pay attention to is where the valve stem is. I'm going to want to rotate this wheel to get the valve stem in a position where the tire finishes off. That way there won't be any interference when the tire is finding a place to go. With the nut and valve stems, they can take up some space, and they can also notch the edge of the bead seat of your tire if you're unaware that you're fighting it. I'll clamp the wheel in its new spot. And I'll take my new tire and put a little bit of tire lube paste just around the back of the inside and the top of the inside edge. And some of the rears have a really shallow drop center. You're going to have to collapse those tires a lot to get your clearance. Push the first half on. The second half I'll use the mount demount bar 2-prong end installed over the left frame arm. Sometimes the yellow thing tool can be helpful. And this wheel is really slick, clearly. Sometimes this can push the tire down to a point where you're actually losing clearance, and it might get in your way. That would be your choice to use it or not. But I usually try to start off using it because it can make the job a lot easier. I push the bar with my hip, collapse the tire with my left hand. You can see it, the tire creeping into the drop center. Pull in the handle, and the tire pops out. You'll return the valve stem core after you've seated the bead and balance it just like any other wheel.